Hi guys, so I thought I would just show you this short overview on what UNICEF is all about. Basically, I kind of signed up with them just because I was curious about their mission and everything. Um, so yeah, let's just get started. Um, so I'm not just gonna go into the big picture because probably everyone knows like it's about children, and that's why the name is standing for. So basically an emergency fund for children. I cannot tell, like, every country may be different from the mission, but I think some stuff that we do also is similar to other countries. So this is just acting on how Romania is doing it and which mission it has, I guess. um so basically, let me just flip it because you saw it, it's just the same label. uh Now I can actually hear myself better. Okay. Okay, let's just do it like this. um Good. So basically, it's acting out as a supporting non-profit, I guess. uh, so this organization is working a lot for the government. It's not like a non-profit. This is how it's different, because basically they're not allowed to have like 2% of whatever. They're acting on, you know, actual money value, so dollar worth. So $2, $5. They cannot do 2% of the 1 year revenue or 2% of your 1 month allowance. They cannot do 2% versus, they just take, cash, so debit only, because they are this type of organization. Again, I'm just pointing this out just because it may not be clear to a lot of people how they work. So it was founded in 91, and the classic story, it was founded in 46. So again, it's quite new, I think. Let me just think, it's around 30 years, let's just say. um and it does a lot of fundraising. So 30% goes, volunteers approaching people. 60% they choose to send over money through SMS, so that kind of charity. And 10% is corporate. um no, 13 was online, face to face, so basically approaching people is 60%. SMS is 15 and corporate 10. But even if you think about it, um, I think the bigger amounts are being sent online versus in real person, because no one's gonna give you $1,000 in the face. They're gonna give it, online, transferred or for corporate, even if it's just 10%. But you have to think the bigger amounts is gonna go that way. Um, and they talk a lot about a specific part of the country is called, like, a region Baco. So for them, this is like the pilot where they started to try to apply UNICEF as a mission to the village, the people, the school. So just hard on. I think they mentioned this more than one time. Um, Again, I'm not really, so my tone is a bit different probably than what you're gonna see online, but I just see it from my perspective as a normal person. That's all. um so they say they help a lot of people. Of course, we have been shown like a lot of documentaries and how they see it, with real life, I don't know, like, situations and that kind of stuff. Let me just go to the overview because I feel like I want to be straight with you. So they have like a packaging that is consisting of social assistance, um, medical assistance, and the last one is, let me see, educational consultants. Okay, so basically those three are the package that everyone at UNICEF is trying to provide. Uh, and they are distributed in such a way so they can actually help more efficiently. The first one, where it has to do with medical, again, you have to understand, as far as I know, they don't actually give like medicine or that kind of stuff. So they said it more than one time, they go for services. So, let me just make it like simple. They consult. I'm not sure how they consult in medical. I think the most important aspect about it is just they do paper for other people. If they don't have medical insurance, they're gonna do medical insurance. Another aspect that has to do with the whole packaging is that a lot of people who have this very low income and anything, they don't have like identity cards, for example, and that's why they cannot do medical insurance. They don't have a property paper for their for their house, for their uh, you know for where they built their house. So basically anything that they, or where they they do their agriculture. So basically that part of their property there's also no paper on. So basically they help a lot with the legal stuff, I guess, and from there they consult more on what you can have a right on. So they can educate people on what is your right. So basically what is your right if you are in medical insurance and what you can apply for. um Apparently they also explain about hygiene, and sorry to say like that, but it's just how it is. It's sexual education, so prevention, if you want to call it that, but a prevention in a way where you give people prevention pills. I don't know what exactly that could be, but you can use prevention pills basically if you're just gonna have a cold, so you get an aspirin maybe. um Again, it's very general. I really don't know. I asked some questions, but not about anything because I don't want to be this bully basically with questions all the time. Um, so when it comes to school education, they give advice. They have emotional support. Um, they make sure that children go to school regularly, and they kind of also I'm not sure, some sort of teacher kind of signed up. I'm not sure how exactly this happens, but I think they were teachers before they started to work with UNICEF, and they go there and teach people, children, school stuff. I don't know exactly how this works. Again, I don't know so much. It's just how it sounds like. So I'm not sure if this is a real teacher or anything. But this is how it looks like. So they're just investing in the services they provide, um, and basically just because of that I kind of wrote some stuff down because they were about numbers. What they did, they kind of accentuate that it has to do with abuse of the parents, the poverty, and that's the reason why children don't go to school. Well, in the end, they kind of make this way, so they have a budget, a methodology, or the tools, so they can push it on the government so they can make a good change in the end. They also have a database basically, so usually it has to do with whatever they're working on. So like this Baco pilot, they have a lot of information about the people there. It sounds a bit creepy if you think about it, but anyways, they say like they overview everyone and how they're managing, and this whole program is like an app. I'm not sure how this will be. I'm gonna see it probably. It's called Aurora and it sounds even more creepy, but anyways, so they kind of make it. But if you think about it, everyone at the workspace has some sort of side app that they're using, like Slack or that kind of stuff. So having a special app that makes your workflow efficient, it's not really that creepy. It's more creepy that they have this database based on it's just looks weird. And for anything, they can just apply for just small amount of funds as this. It's not a non-profit, but let me just call it because it's just easier for me. They call it micro grants, so basically around $2,000, which is not a lot if you think about it. And usually, if you like are a school or a hospital, or if you work with the mayor, you can apply for whatever project you're working on. And they say, so exactly why they do this fundraising. So here's the interesting part actually, because it's very rigid, and I don't know how this holds together, but anyways, um, they say they make a difference between materials and services, where I underlined already they work with services. So they don't provide anything. Like, you know, this, anything behind me, anything here is actually material. So if you think about someone who actually lives in poverty, they're missing a lot on simple stuff, including stuff like this. Because they don't provide food. Okay, you're gonna say there's some other organization, but I'm just underlying it. They don't provide food, they don't underline the clothing. So basically, a person in poverty is missing a lot on life and stuff. I really don't want to, I'm just gonna make it like very simply, like pillows or whatever. I'm just saying, I mean, they're like underlying, they're not giving this. So basically, they don't give clothes, they don't give anything. So food wise, I even ask about, if this is like a place where you have literally no reach usually, it means you cannot have cable or Wi-Fi, that kind of stuff. And I asked, is this a service? They said no, it's still a product. Okay. And I asked again, how about books? Because you do education. No, they don't provide books. Um, and the reason is it's just, we don't want to create this feeling of being needed, It's like, how is that actually? I mean, I don't feel like I'm creating the feeling of need if I had curtains on my fixed window. I mean, just think about it. If you have a broken window, you want to have that fixed. And that is more important versus going to school. I'm just saying. And anything else, I mean, if you want to have a security, you want to have a good door, right? So having a good door that's actually, doing everything, this is good. Not getting this in school, but I'm just thinking like someone who's not a child. But just moving on. And later they just say, yeah, they give some school books. So not any book, because I asked, are these the books that you give? Do I find them in the library, or they're just made by UNICEF? They said no, they are the books you find in the library. So somehow they give books away. But again, if that child is like in this environment where they really have no clothes or food, do you think, because I asked like, do you provide for pencils or anything like you can write upon, or literally paper, do you provide that? No. So apparently they provide for books, but for pen, paper, and whatever school can be, they don't provide. They provide with the teacher minus the school supplies. Okay. But again, it sounds weird because it just looks a bit different than anything that I can come up with, whatever fundraising can be. And they have like the service. So basically, they have independent consultants for this, probably medical consulting and legal consulting, that kind of stuff, or for school maybe. I'm not sure how this is consulting. And for training them, I guess this needs money, but again, your children doesn't, or the families of those children don't really have money, so how is training those people helpful versus making their life easier? Because I think that was the point in the first place. Anyways, so the donation is usually one time only or a monthly recurrent payment. And as mentioned, they only accept debit and your real value, so amount wise. So here in Romania, they have a minimum of 15 RON, which is, I don't know, let's just say $3. Usually they go for $6. You know, they try to push people at least $6 into investing at least one time, and you know, the whole point is to make it like a recurrent payment. But it just goes like every other businesses. You want the cash flow coming, you know. Again, I don't want to sound creepy, but it just sounds like anything that I heard before, recurring subscription, basically. Um, so yeah, so in short, it just is like exactly what I heard. Uh, there's gonna be a continuation about how to do sales for this, but this is like a short overview. I don't want to sound creepy, but it's just creeping me out that they're leaving so much else outside of the box. It just sounds very unhealthy, because I could count so many things where I needed money, and here I'm coming from this person who has lived with literally 30 cents per day. Okay, yes, this person lives with 30 cents a day right now for different reasons. I'm not gonna go into it, but this face and this person is living with 30 cents. And for a lot of things you need money. Okay, you need food, which they will not supply, so you have to think, who's gonna give you money for food? Nobody. Do you have an organization who's giving you food? Maybe, but again, you need money for food. That's the whole point. Secondly, clothes. So apparently having the same clothes on repeat is not a good example. So they say they want to support the people who like have children going with the same clothes every day. I don't know how this is good or bad, because as far as I remember from my childhood, I did change some clothes, but to be honest, I don't remember what those children were wearing. I mean, for me or for someone else, it was not really a problem how I was dressed. And for what it's worth, I understand it's more important to cultivate other cultures, so not this skin color, basically different colors. And then go all out about gypsies. So basically, if you're a gypsy, if you like live like a homeless person, so basically with just one pair of clothes every day, you're a good sign to be a good investment. I forgot, like if you live like in a very small village where you cannot put on the map where it is, that's a good sign you're gonna be invested in. And lastly but not least, a very good investment is a person who's having health needs. So basically anything that cannot be cured, cancer to shakiness of hands, not walking. If you are this, or blind, I don't know. So if you are this person, thank God you're gonna give that person money, minus the part you cannot fix this person because they are not gonna heal, you know. So these are the 5 hot points if you think you're gonna get funds from UNICEF. Let's not forget, you will not be white. If you know, don't be white. If you're gonna be white, you probably will not get funds. If you don't wear the same clothes every day, you're not gonna get funds. I mean funds in the way of services, not even funds, okay? Thirdly, what was it? Yeah, you have to be sick of some sort of disease that cannot be fixed. You have to live basically accepting you're never gonna have a good home. So basically with electricity, gas, let's just not think about cable and internet and all those, you know, normal things. Let's not think about a car or anything like that normal, you know. And what was the last thing? Yeah, so basically you have to be this person, like, you know, not really, it's a deficiency. I think that's the word, is deficiency I'm going for. And apparently in this situation you kind of get abused by society, but let me just break it to you. I mean, you can get abused for more than one thing in your life. One of those reasons or many others. I mean, Mentally or emotional abuse can happen at any time. Look at me, I'm white, I'm not shaking my hands or anything. These are actually our new clothes because, for what is worth, these are new clothes. I have 30 cents every day to live with. And, it's not like, I'm gonna expect UNICEF to help me because they will not. Because, let's not forget, you don't have to live in the city. If you live in a city, no UNICEF is gonna help you. You are actually gonna be this person providing for the people who don't even live near you. Okay? So you're providing for some villages in this country. I don't know where. You don't know exactly those people, let alone those very small villages. You don't even know where they are. But apparently, helping them is gonna change your health, mentally and emotionally. I don't know. Maybe it will. Maybe it will not be a good thing, because as far as I know, so coming back to real life, if you don't live in the city, if you don't have money for food, if your relative or your friends are not helping you, you may starve or die. So you have to take care of yourself in any way. So from food to health, insurance, home, gas, that kind of stuff. So everything here is because of money. And I don't see UNICEF actually making this like with a brain. Because if these people really don't have a home, why do you think they will go to school? I mean, if I, again, I'm mentioning the part where I have just 30 cents a day, and I want to motivate myself literally every day somehow not to starve, because I think three times a day how to eat, real question, how to eat healthy 3 times a day, every day. And secondly, how not to get sick, because if you get sick, I mean, some of the questions like not answered is what do you do if you have food poisoning? I mean, you can get food poisoning for any reason, like how I got food poisoning from delivery. Because in the city, sometimes the delivery, if they give you food, it's cold, and you may get sick. This is not something new. You need a doctor and medicine. Are they supplying that? No. So you can imagine those people in those conditions where you don't even have gas or anything, how often they can get sick, especially from food poisoning and bad food in general. So you think those people really care about lectures? I don't think so. I mean, I'm probably they're not gonna talk about, I don't know, important stuff that you want to remember in school. I mean, this is gonna mark their childhood nonetheless. Like, I think, to be honest, this is more for them to raise unqualified workers, because they're gonna have some sort of education, just enough, to get hired, and just enough to get cheaply hired. So basically, for all the corporates out there who are really searching this because they don't want to pay normal people for something. No, they want the lowest expectations possible to hire a person like this person who's gonna give UNICEF helps, is gonna come out of school with no gas, no nothing, probably doesn't have a phone, so a normal, tap phone like I have, for example. So like this one, they will not have that, let alone clothes and that kind of stuff. So they're gonna jump into corporate life with 1 cent a day, maybe. Who knows? Because apparently that's the standard they know. And they're gonna accept it better than someone like me who's not used living with 30 cents a day, but guess what? I'm making this work. So where are we heading? That's the question. Are we heading into a direction where we want people to raise money for something better? Or are we raising money for something to get worse? That's the question. I don't think helping those people, I mean, I'm accepting helping those people, but if you're gonna help them just with school, no. I mean, for God's sake, let them actually learn cooking. Have you tried that? I don't think it's odd to learn to cook. It's just a necessary thing you need. I mean, you need to learn to speak properly, to write properly, and cooking is like one of those important things. Minus the part where you're gonna get adult needs and you need to understand that also. Are you gonna teach that in school? Probably not. You don't fucking care. Guess what? And because no one, even in this normal life, is gonna teach you that. Okay, cooking again. Who's gonna teach you to cook? You need specific things to, to follow. Are there cooking books? No. Who's gonna teach you to cook? I mean, they probably don't even know exactly how to cut a fatty meat from a fish meat properly. I mean, they probably don't even have good knives. If this is rust on their knives, do you want to talk about health and education? I mean, seriously, this sounds exactly how the priest was coming over to normal houses. So 100 years ago, the priest was coming over and asking if this family wants this child to go to school. It sounds like that. But in this modern age and everything, forcing a person to go to school where you cannot even help them overcome poverty, and trust me, they don't help you so much. I know that, okay? Normal people will never help you, let alone, non-profits like that, because apparently if you're white, healthy, speaking, and you're not shaking any hands or anything, no one's gonna help you. So I think again you're gonna have a lot of generations raising that are not so healthy after all. But thank God for those medical people out there. They're gonna have a lot of more experiments to do, right? Yeah, you're just gonna have more, people to test on, probably. Yeah, that's just my impression up to this point. It sounds like that, honestly. Um, yeah, I hope tomorrow's gonna be better. Who knows? If not, who knows? I'm just gonna see it happen. And for what it's worth, I know at least like our country is delivering to our people, but apparently not our color. So again, it kind of hurts, I'm raising money for anything except my skin. It sounds like that. But who knows? Maybe in America or somewhere else, you're also raising money for someone who's not your skin. But I can understand that, minus the part I don't get it, because if you cannot even protect your own kind and in your city, how do you expect to help people outside of the city and anything? It just, I don't think it's gonna happen. You're gonna not see anything done how you imagine it. And yeah, I mean, people really don't care, because if with $2,000 you cannot do so much. I mean, this is literally nothing you can do. Trust me, food is so expensive. So basically, I need to pay like, so because I'm this person who knows how much everything costs. In a normal day, I would expect to eat like, so healthy wise, maybe, let me just say $20 a day. So, so $20 a day, if you divide, so for me, $20 a day, and 2,000, it just means I have for half a year, Maybe you want to do anything except food, because for 2,000 it's not enough for me to finish a digital project, but it's just enough to get a good camera equipment, some new clothes, and in 1 month it's over. That's the whole point. So 2,000 is not a lot. I'm not sure how you want to raise money for something like this. Even for children, I think that's too little. I'm just saying. That's the whole idea I wanted to get over with you, UNICEF. Let's just see how tomorrow's gonna be. Thanks. Bye.